Thanks for joining me tonight live. I'm excited to tell you today about an experience that I had, a couple experiences, and talk to you about how organization can help, even if it's just one part of your day that you organize just a little bit. And I want you to think about what is your busiest or most stressful time of day. Think about your day, all the things that you do, your schedule. What does a typical day look like for you? And then what is your most stressful time of day? So an experience that I had one time was after I had my first son, who was born with a cleft lip and cleft palate and clubbed feet. We had him in the hospital, and literally like 6 hours after I had my baby, gave birth in the hospital, there was a social worker right in my room ready to help me. So I remember I had quite a few social workers that just appeared. I'm like, who are you? But they did help a lot. And I remember one in particular, she became one of my good friends, and she would come visit our house a lot and make sure that my son was getting different therapies that he needed. And they had every state and every city has a certain program for children who need special services before they turn 3. Because once they turn 3, then they go to the school, district or whatever that you live in. But before that, you get a social worker if you need one, and different therapists. And I remember every single, and I mean 100% of every single therapist and social worker that I ever had, they would always ask me, because they ask a lot of questions, to really, assess the situation and see what you need. And they would always ask me about, how is your dinner time? How is the time? What is it like when you're getting dinner ready? And I thought that was kind of random. When I was first asked that by my friend who's a social worker, and she said, no, this is serious. This is the most stressful time for stay-at-home parents, usually. She had over 20 years experience. And she said that is when they yell the most, that is when they lose temper the most, and get angry at the kids, and feel the most stressed, because dinner has to be ready. They're trying to do a lot of things all at once, and it's that evening where they're just trying to get dinner on the table, and kids need to go to bed, kids need to do homework. It's a really stressful time for most families and for most parents, whether you stay at home or you work. And what was really interesting is that, that experience with that social worker was 8 years ago. And now my 2-year-old was diagnosed with autism, and we have therapists coming to help him as well, giving him occupational therapy and physical therapy, speech therapy, among others, vision therapy. It is a thing. There's such a thing as vision therapists. And because my son's overstimulated visually, and so, but one thing that the occupational therapist too has asked me a lot about is, how can I help you with preparing dinner at that time? How can we help organize things so that time is not so stressful? And it kind of brought me back to my experience with my first son, when the social worker was worried about that time too. And I want to share what I have done to help, me not be so stressed during that time of getting dinner on the table and helping kids with homework and trying to clean up the house a little bit, and getting ready for preparing all the food and stuff. I've got 2 kids that can't have gluten and can't have dairy, and so I feel like I'm doing a lot of cooking because I actually prepare 2 different meals every day. It's great. And so this is what I do, and I'm not saying in any means, in any way, that everyone has to do it this way. I just want to share an idea out there, because I know that when you hear more ideas, you might get another idea. Oh wait, I could do that. You pull a tiny detail from my idea and a tiny detail from someone else's idea, and create your own plan, and create your organization in your home that works best for you. So what I do that helps me is that every week I sit down and I plan just a week of meals. I can't do more than that. It's too much. I get overwhelmed. But I'll plan just that week of dinner. And I really have to plan it out with cooking a meal for like me and my husband and 2 kids, and then a separate meal for my other 2 kids, where I want their meal to be, you know, similar to our meal or at least look like it. If I do a lasagna, I want to make their lasagna and have their lasagna noodles that are gluten-free and have, you know, have all of their things and stuff. So I will plan 1 week of meals, and then I'll sit down on the computer and order my groceries online and then go pick them up the next day. And like some areas you can't do that, but either like what I used to do before I could order my groceries online is I would make a list. And I would go, okay, if I'm going to do that soup, then I need this much broccoli and this much Velveeta cheese and whatever it is. I need this much rice. And so then I would know throughout the week that I have everything for those meals. Now I'll tell you what happens. I barely ever follow that plan 100%. Like, never have I actually made every meal during the week on the day that I'm supposed to make it. But what really helps is that, for example, on Monday, if I only have 20 minutes to make a meal and I see that it's lasagna, that's not going to happen. And so I'll do the next day. Oh, the next day is chicken Alfredo, and I can do that in 20 minutes, and so I'll do that instead and then do lasagna the next day. Because that whole week, I have 7 options. I mean, think of it. I have 7 options of dinners that week where I know that I have all the stuff and I'm ready to make it. So depending on how much time I have, I'll switch it around a lot, all the time. But that does help a lot, and especially if I'm making something where it needs to be in the crock pot in the morning, then I'll write a little note saying, you know, put the food in the crock pot in the morning. So that definitely helps me get that all planned out, and so then I'm not worrying, oh, it's 4 o'clock, what am I going to make? And then I spend who knows how long wasting time trying to find all the ingredients, start making the meal, and then realize halfway through that I don't have the ingredients. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does that. I'm sure there's other people out there that do that. And then, you know, we have 5 minutes and everyone is hungry and everyone is like hanging on me and pulling on my hair, and all the kids are screaming and like stealing crackers, and they're gonna be eating food while I'm making the food, and then they're not even gonna be hungry for dinner. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean this like to turn into a rant, but I'm sure you've been there too. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So I know the more I plan those meals during that, just that small time, but it happens every day, then the less stressed I get. If I have it planned out, I know what we're gonna have. I have all the stuff to make it, and it really does help a lot. So I wanted to just give that tip for you. And for organization, of course, we can think about like a lot of different things, but that is one of the most important things. If that's your responsibility to, hey hun, thanks for joining me. Yeah. If that's your responsibility, then it really does like take a weight off your shoulders to know what you're gonna make, and you know you have everything. So I wanted to share that. So
yes, she does awesome job. so yeah, organize. That is so true. Just having it down, having the plan.
Yeah.
It just does a lot to alleviate stress and that's in everything. Like if you're going day to day without that plan, it's tough. It makes it harder. So take the time to, like we talked about last time, have your weekly planning and do that. So if you haven't already, go to investinyourchild.com and log in, and you get your free membership to our 9-week challenge. And that's awesome. And we will continue these. So we've got, what is it today? Thursday. So Friday and Saturday left on Organize. We've got a couple more things we're going to talk about. I'll talk next time a little bit about more on the planning side of things that will hopefully be beneficial for you. And other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Now we're going to turn it out.